Good evening, listeners. Tonight or today, we have a very special treat for you. Nathan and I will be walking you through a scenario of horror, suspense, and the undead. Come with us as we navigate this landscape of necrotic flesh in our attempt to survive. We are playing Survivor Aftermath, parentheses, name pending. This is an alpha test of an RPG that we are writing together with members of our Patreon. It is where we are walking through the city of Seattle post-apocalypse in a zombie landscape, and we're trying to see if we can survive. This is meant to be a game that has no DM, so we're going to be doing a lot of storytelling for each other. It's cooperative. We're going to see how it goes.
It's going to be a good time.
It's going to be a good time. Welcome to Talk About Tatooine. I'm Andrew.
I'm Nathan.
And we are twin brothers here to bring you what's new in nerddom and give colorful commentary on our favorite subjects. Welcome to our cantina. Grab a drink and settle in as we set course for realities beyond our own.
Welcome everyone to episode 90. Today's recording date is October 26th. This episode is going to be released right before Halloween on Monday, October 28th. Today, we are playing a game. Andrew, we've got a lot of rules that we want to lay down. Today's going to be a little bit probably of a longer episode, but hopefully a really fun episode. So let's get right into it.
Yeah, like I said, this is an alpha test. So the party, doesn't matter what size the party is, will be given a series of randomly generated scenarios drawn from a deck, and will have to weave their through using either the roll of a dice to determine their circumstances and their outcomes, along with their wit. There is no game master. There is only the cards, or in this case, a table I made in Excel. Spooky! Can our humans end up heroes at the end of their own story, or will they be the feeding end of a zombie's hunger? The rules are very simple. You start the game by rolling 4d6, one at a time. This determines the zombie's strength, spread, curability, and intelligence. Each of these will be a difficulty modifier to your game. Roll a 1, 2, 4, and 6. That adds up to a plus 13 difficulty to all events. This translates to harder events more often, so pray to whatever god you believe in for quad ones. Oh, did I mention if you roll more than a single one in a roll, you have to re-roll the last one. No repeat ones.
Darn it.
So a 1-3-1-5 is allowed, but a 1-1-2-5 is not allowed.
Can't make it too easy for us to start, can we?
No. Your goal is simple, is to escape the city of Seattle. Or whatever metropolis you want to roleplay in. It's in Seattle. We're basing it in Seattle. Everyone knows that a metropolis is always the epicenter for any outbreak and the most dangerous place to be. You and your party must combine your might, your wits, and your luck to escape this pit of hell. Each player is equipped with the following: their hands, their feet, and a mostly working, only slightly traumatized psyche. You can only take what you can carry, so choose your items wisely. In real-world terms, this means the average person could, in an emergency situation, carry about 45 pounds total weight of gear. So this is a number that you supplied because you train soldiers in real life, and you know things.
And that's slightly scaled down for the average person. So that means we're going to be giving inventory spaces later, but it also means you can't carry 4 bags of concrete in your inventory.
Yeah, you know things about the human body, so that's helpful. I know things about machines. And that's it.
I know things about wet machines.
Ugh, don't. Nope, you're done.
Episode's canceled.
The rules are simple. You arrive in a new area. You roll for an event. You use your gear to decide the fate of that event. You scrounge, you loot, you level up, and maybe, just maybe, you escape. How do you beat an event? Your party's combined strength value must be greater than or equal to the difficulty of that event. Additionally, the tools you are using must narratively fit the circumstances you are faced with. Be creative. It's not about your inventory, but about your mind as well. Therefore, strength is the only skill that matters, but don't let that stop you from making the coolest character ever. So we really only have one stat, and that's strength.
And imagination.
There are items that upgrade your charisma, but that is literally just for shits and giggles, and that's it. Because you can't riz a zombie.
No, you cannot.
Okay. What happens if you cannot overcome an event? You have 2 options. Well, really, you have 3 options. Your first option, circle back. You can retreat from any event and go back the way you came. This adds an additional event on top of your total event count needed to escape. Right now, we're starting at 10. If we choose to retreat from an event It just adds a +1 to ours. So we go from having to be 10 to 11, +1. Events with the no retreat tag are exempt from this option, and events with a cutscene tag are also exempt from all options. Cutscene events just happen to the player. Your second option is to think of an alternative solution. This is the role-playing part of the game. Put your heads together and find a way through the event that doesn't seem as obvious. This rule is judged based off of the story actions table and the rule of cool within reason. Based on the action you come up with, you will select the most appropriate action on the story table and roll a d20 against that table. If you fail this action, you may use a death save to automatically escape the event. You may use 3 death saves each game, so you don't automatically just die. And retreating does not use a death save either.
Yeah, fun.
Unless an event specifically calls for it, but I haven't written that in yet. Again, we're still in alpha. Your third option is you let the zombies take you. Maybe they are just misunderstood, is the last thing you think as the zombies rip into your flesh and your screams echo through the night. Hope for humanity continues to dwindle with every life lost. Game over.
That is most likely the most logical outcome for this game. So we're going to see how this goes.
Yeah, we have no idea how this is going to go. We did not play test it. Again, this is alpha play testing. We're hoping to refine it, and then we're going to push it out to our Patreon guys, maybe do a game night with them. We're going to optimize it even more, and then maybe, just maybe, we will release it to the public.
It's going to be pretty cool.
While this game is meant to be a role-playing game, there is no one in the role of Game Master or Dungeon Master. The game is meant to operate on its own, and the players themselves are meant to narrate, roleplay, and dramatize their encounters with the zombie horde as seriously or as silly as they see fit. This is the Silly Goose Brigade, so
absolutely,
there's going to be lots of honking.
Honking will alert the zombies.
You walk through a park and all of the geese start honking at you. You alert a local horde of zombies. Now, set some ambient music, light some candles, and get ready for an adventure through your burned out city as you attempt to escape to the outskirts and hopefully find a bastion for the uninfected. First things first, you must face the horde. Some quick balance modifiers. You add the following modifier to any difficulty checks depending on the size of your party. We're playing with 2 players, so it's actually a +0 modifier. If you're playing by yourself, it's a -5. It's technically a game you could play by yourself. If you're playing up to, say, 6 people, it adds a +40 modifier to your party. Granted, the hardest event with no modifier is 100. So,
oh my gosh.
So it's a 40% increase in difficulty. Yeah, we'll see. I don't know if that's balanced.
This is going to be wild.
Okay, so step 0 of the game is to roll to see how fast or how the zombies behave. In different zombie movies, they always have different characteristics, like how fast are they? How does the zombie outbreak spread? Is it curable? And how intelligent are the zombies? So real quick.
Exactly.
Each of these is a 1 through 6. Remember, this is going to relate to a d6 on your dice roll. So how fast are the zombies? Anything from 1 very slow, average, fast, very fast, and nightmare. The note for nightmare is just they have no regard for life or limb. Think of World War Z, where they're just yeeting themselves around corners. They're like, oh, that wall, that will help me corner when I run into it at Mach, oh shit.
Yes.
How does it spread? These are just different narrative things. I haven't specifically written any events that say, oh, if your infection type is viral, add a difficulty modifier. We haven't gotten to that deep in. So these are purely narrative at this point. Let's see. The first one is like it's a viral outbreak. The second one is a public health program gone wrong, similar to what happens in I Am Legend. The third one is actually a bioterror attack. The 4 is just like standard bites, like a rabies strain, similar to like World War Z. 5 would be like cordyceps, what we see in The Last of Us. And 6 is magic.
Necromancy.
Yes, specifically necromancy. You'll see a common theme that the hardest category out of each of these is always magical. Let's see. Is it curable? We said, yes, it's curable. All zombies can be saved. again, we don't have a narrative device to actually cure zombies. This is just a difficulty modifier. Yes, there's a vaccine. Basically, the infected are lost, but those who aren't can still be saved. There's a sort of active camouflage similar to World War Z, where the healthy people inoculated themselves with, I think it was a strain of meningitis, something like that, they basically turned themselves into non-acceptable hosts for the zombies, so they basically just ignored them and they would just cut them down. The other one is it's a genetic mutation, so it's not really curable. The other one is it's just not curable at all. And the sixth one is that it's arcane and the zombies are being controlled by a necromancer. And then the final category, I'm really trying to race through these. How smart are the zombies? The first category is dum-dum. Do you have gum-gum?
No brains.
The second category is barely intelligent. And then they have noticeable intelligence, semi-intelligent. Then the fifth is they are actually primitive tool users, similar to how we see apes, specifically like chimpanzees, where they use like sticks to fish for ants out of anthills. That is a primitive tool user. So these are going to be much more dangerous zombies. And then the sixth one is they're actually magical drones being controlled by the necromancer.
Great. All right, so we need to make some rolls because we need to determine the speed, strength, cure, and intelligence. Keep in mind, most of these are narrative devices, but they do all add to the base strength modifier that we have to beat every single round. So just keep that in mind. So I say we alternate rolls for this. So Andrew, why don't you go ahead and roll for their speed stat?
Okay, rolling for speed. I got a 4.
Okay.
So they are fast runners, similar to what we see in Marvel Zombies.
Okay, cool. I'm going to roll for spread. I rolled a 3, so the spread of zombies as they started from a bioterror attack, but it does not kill the host.
Okay. We're going to roll for cure. No. I got a 5.
Okay, so they cannot be cured. The apocalypse is to be survived and endured.
Cool.
That's fun. Okay, intelligence. Come on, give me a 1. I rolled a 5. This is terrible. Okay, so this means that the zombies are primitive tool users. Another way to conceptualize this that we thought of as we were kind of talking this through is basically if a zombie dies with something in its hands, it's going to remain being able to use whatever that object is. It's going to be like, oh, if I died with an AR in my hand, it's probably going to like loose off some random shots. Or if it's like a baseball player and it has a bat in its hand, it's going to swing at you. So stuff like that. And that may or may not come into play later in some of our events. So this is going to be fun.
Indeed. All right. I am recording a spot for our death saves. Just a reminder to our audience, our goal is to make it through 10 events. We're going to try to make it through 10 events and see if we survive. There may be a significant amount of re-rolling because out of the 100 events that I have written, a little over... actually, I do have a decent amount of these filled out, not completely filled out. So we'll have to do a little bit on the fly thinking of, what's the natural consequence? What's the natural reward? About 2/3 of them are filled out.
At varying difficulties, so this will be interesting.
At varying difficulties. And the difficulties are benign, risky, dangerous, hazardous, and lethal.
So this is going to be a good time. All right, so we need to determine our characters really quick. And then do we get to start with any weapons or loot?
Yes, we should start the game by rolling on the weapons table.
All right, I'm going to go to the weapons table. We have, I think, 20 weapons. We have 19. Oh, that's because we needed one more. We don't have a flamethrower on here. I'm just going to ad-lib flamethrower at the end. My roll, I rolled a 1. Okay, so guys, that means I am starting off with a screwdriver. This is a strength 1 weapon. It is one-handed. Not the drink, though I could really use an alcoholic version right now. Inserted directly into the eye of the nearest ghoul, and they will stop moving eventually. Great.
Okay, let's see what I'm going to roll. I rolled an 18.
Okay, so that's good.
Oh, gosh. I rolled for an M269. It requires 2 backpack slots for extra ammo, great for clearing rooms, large areas, and will attract zombies nearest to you. It has a strength of +50.
As you guys are going through, you're going to notice a lot of like number and like name changes for things because we didn't want to use real names for like weapons and stuff. So you're going to see kind of like goofy sounding names for a lot of things. So just keep that in mind as you're going through. It's going to be a fun time. So
we probably should have rolled a D10 to start with.
Oh, just to start with, no, dude, because between me and you, I have a screwdriver and you have a weapon. So we're moderate, you know?
Yes. On average, we're rocking 26 strength each, approximately 25 and a half. Because the way this game works is it does not go from easiest to hardest. I've designed it in a way to where you literally could roll the hardest event right out of the gate. And with our plus 17 modifier, a plus 50 weapon right out of the gate is going to do pretty well. And hopefully not kill us right away. So we'll see how this goes.
Man, I can't believe I got the only strength 1 weapon on the entire thing.
The nat 1, buddy.
So, Andrew, if I understand this correctly, our characters ourselves have a base stat of strength 1, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm rocking a strength 2 currently with the items that I have been provided.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, do we need to roll for anything in the loot table?
No, that may change later.
Okay, we'll find those as we go. So we've got weapons. We need to encounter our first event.
Indeed. Let's see. Do you have a D100?
No.
I do, so I will roll for our event.
All right, roll your chunky boy.
I rolled a 91. Cutscene. Spontaneous mutation. Re-roll your lowest difficulty dice.
Okay, so our first event, does this still count for us going through an event?
Yes, it does.
Okay, so that means we need to re-roll our spread. I will re-roll that now because we had a spread modifier of 3. It is now a 2.
So that's the cool thing about spontaneous mutation is it could go lower. It probably won't, but it could.
All right, so that means the zombies themselves now have a strength stat of 16.
Plus 16.
Plus 16, yes.
And we made it through our first event.
Nice.
We are wandering through the streets of Seattle. The rain is coming down, obviously, because it's Seattle. We're wet and we're chilled to our bone, and we see that the zombies and their desire to navigate this new landscape have developed some behaviors that are actually less lethal to humans. Natural selection and whatnot, I don't know.
Absolutely. I'm going to make a quick change. I'm making us a modified event table. Okay, so now we have 68 events.
That's pretty good. One short of nice.
Yes, one short of nice. Oh, sorry. I lied. We had 2 rows in there. So this is going to put us down to 66 events. 66. Fantastic. 1/6 short of the devil's number because it's spooky, folks. All right. So for event number 2, I'm going to generate a random number for us. And that's going to determine our next event. So event number 2 it's a 52. Okay, so we're going to scroll down to event 52, which means this is probably going to be a pretty hard one. This is the first event on the lethal category. A lumbering juggernaut appears. Difficulty 100 strength. Question: does that mean it's 100 plus our original base modifier that we have?
Yes.
Because is that the event difficulty is 100?
Yes. So real quick, that is not an accurate value because that was when I had the table at 125 events. It should actually be difficulty 80.
Oh, okay. So difficulty 80 plus 16. So we're at a 96.
Still pretty dang high.
All right, brother. We entered this new area. There's a giant juggernaut up ahead. Do you think if you can distract it, I can get up behind it and stab it in the neck like a dozen times and we could beat it? That would work, right?
I think we kind of have to. So let's see. I have the rifle in my inventory. So I'm going to break right. I'm just going to start putting down covering fire, and you're going to try to sneak behind it and attack it.
Fantastic. I'm going to stab it right in its spinal cord. The story table?
So therefore, we have to go to the table. You're making the story table. You're making a stealth check, and I'm making a distraction check.
Okay, so what do we need to beat? What are we getting to that we need to beat if we were to decide to take this course of action?
So you basically just have to beat the difficulty check of your roll. So with a D20, you have to beat a DC 15. So you just have to roll a 15 or higher.
Okay, and we're not taking into consideration our modifiers. This is just luck here.
No, we should. I think you're right. I think we should.
Okay, so with a +2 modifier, I have to beat a 15. I'm rolling. I rolled a 12.
Rolled a 12, which with your modifiers +2, so you just barely missed.
Yes. So my character sneaking around immediately trips over a chair. I've alerted the Juggernaut. What do we do?
I think we would have to automatically use one of our death saves to escape the event.
Because I'm going to die. I'm not going to make that check and be able to stab it.
Correct.
So we've made a death save. All right. Now, how does it work if we use a death save? It's not the same as running away, right? Because we decided to engage the Juggernaut. We decided to engage the event, essentially. Does that mean we still have an additional event that gets added later? Because we didn't run away. We just failed. But we used one of our death saves. So, like, our penalty is that we're taking a death save, right?
Yeah, I don't think the death save should add an event to your total modifier. But it doesn't count as a pass either. We still have 9 events to do. So instead of 11, we still have 10, but we still only have 1.
So we still have 9 events that we have to beat. Okay.
Correct.
So it doesn't penalize you, but you still have to beat that number of events. You have to have 10 successful events to make it out, essentially.
Yep.
Okay. That is what we are doing. We are making up the rules on the spot, guys. This is fantastic. All right, Andrew, give us our third event.
You have the random number generator.
Oh, okay. Let's generate the numbers 26. So we're going to go to our event table. Event 26, we end up on a no retreat. So we do not have that option. We have to engage, die, or storytell our way through. You stumble through a construction zone. Nails are everywhere. Piles of lumber thrown about. This place is a disaster. Someone could easily get hurt. As you enter, a steel I-beam crashes down behind you, barring your way. And through the holes in the door you came through, you see the grasping hands of the undead. Thankfully, there are no zombies ahead of you. All right. So we get loot. Fantastic. So the loot available is you find a hammer, screwdriver, crowbar, and a chainsaw. However, the consequences is we suffer a +5 difficulty to the next event that we have.
This is only if we fail the event.
This event?
Yeah.
How would we fail this event?
Because it is a difficulty 40. So it's like inherently dangerous, and the difficulty is to represent like our ability to navigate through this disaster zone without hurting ourselves.
Oh, so this is a stupidity check.
It's a stupidity check.
Well, your possession of a weapon, high value weapon, does let us get through, because that creates a total party ceiling that we are able to clear very, very easily, which is nice. So
using my machine gun, I clear away all the debris. No, I don't. That's so stupid.
Hey, that's a great way to, you're like, I see a stack of lumber in the way, and I just rack the slide and just absolutely go to town on it.
It just go to town.
You've successfully vented your frustration on that pile of lumber, and we feel pretty good. We make it out of the area.
Sweet. That brings us to...
Okay, for your loot table, for the loot that's available, do you want to switch any of those items out for your machine gun?
No.
Okay.
Heavens no.
That would be stupid, right? So I'm going to put in event 2. We got a 26. So that is in there. And I'm going to I need to actually hop over to the weapon table really quick, because we got a hammer, a screwdriver, what else? Modified event table, a crowbar, and a chainsaw. I'm thinking a chainsaw is probably going to be the best.
Yes.
Where's the crowbar?
It's a 2. The crowbar's not on there. It needs to be removed. But the chainsaw is a strength 20, and the description is, let's effing go.
All right, so I'm going to drop my screwdriver because it's a one-handed weapon. So I'm going to take that out, and I'm going to add chainsaw to inventory. Fantastic.
All right, what's our total party strength right now? What are you at?
Just a second. Chainsaw is a two-handed weapon, and it has a strength of 20. Fantastic. Nice. Chainsaw.
So you're at 21. I'm at 51. That puts us at 72.
Do we gain a power for each event that we pass through?
I think we should.
Because it's like you're gaining experience points, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we've gone through 2 events. I have a chainsaw in my inventory, which gives me a +20. So that means I am at a total power level of 23.
And I am at 53.
Excellent. Okay, so now I'm getting why you put the modifiers up so high. I'm even thinking even to the future, if you played this with 6 people, you would probably need to almost increase that really quick. But we'll see, because it is all random.
Yeah.
And we could potentially, in the future, we could throw events in that actually strip items from your inventory. So there's an opportunity for you to lose like weapons or something.
There are some consequences that you lose items.
Good. Excellent. All right. Are we ready for our third event?
Yes, I think we are.
Actually, I guess this is technically our fourth event because we died on one of them. So we're going to generate a number. It's a 13. Sick. All right. Hey, we discovered some stray humans at difficulty 14. Andrew, what should we do with these stray humans?
These stray humans, they don't have a collar. They're probably not chipped. They're definitely not spayed or neutered. They come out of the alleys. They come out of the alleys and they're bearing baseball bats, crowbars, different types of blunt or sharp objects, and they are clearly sleep deprived. They have huge bags under their eyes, and they are ready to murder you. And it is this point we realize that it would be incredibly difficult to persuade them to be peaceful, or do we gun them down?
So I look at the party. I have my chainsaw in hand, and I do something incredibly provocative. And I said, would you like to meet your Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ? And I rev my chainsaw.
Oh my gosh.
How do the stray humans react to that, Andrew?
Let's see. Based on the difficulty check, the stray humans immediately start yipping and whimpering. Some of them even go down onto all fours and start bounding away back into the shadows. Some of them even drop some of their weapons, and a couple of them drop canteens of water.
Fantastic. Easy peasy.
Easy peasy.
Wait, was that an intimidation check that I just did?
Yes.
How would we classify that? As technical, distraction, stealth, or persuasion?
That's a persuasion.
So a D20?
But your strength modifier is so high already.
Oh, that's true. I rolled a 6. I passed it.
I'm thinking we're gonna have to rework how that table works with maybe just a little bit of math. I'm thinking it might be your strength modifier divided by 2.
Or just your character modifier.
Or just your character modifier, yeah.
Because that would mean I have like a +3, you have a +3.
So the more events you do, the better your roll is. But for now, we don't have that. Go ahead and roll us our next event.
All right, rolling next event. We rolled a 22. Event number 22 is you stumble across... Oh, sick. You stumble across a post-apocalyptic distillery. There's an armored gate around this compound. You can trade with these people. This is difficulty 31. Consequences are not really applicable unless you try to steal from them. Do we have anything that we would like to trade for booze? Because we potentially just picked up some water from the previous event. So I feel like that could be good to trade with these people so they can keep making their apocalyptic mash or whatever.
I agree. I think we should actually switch some of our water for a bottle of booze, which we can either drink ourselves, which does give us a temporary strength if we need it, or if we choose to, we can prepare them into Molotov cocktails.
I think we should trade,
okay.
And I think we should keep that booze on hand. How does that sound?
Keep it as booze.
All right, so your character walks up to the traders. You make sure to have your rifle slung across your back so that you're not presenting yourself as a hostile force. And you say, hello, good humans. We see that you guys have a very cool distillery. We actually have some water we would be willing to trade if you guys have any surplus gin, tonic, or whatever sort of spirit that you guys are selling. The nice people of Seattle say, absolutely, we could use more water because we can turn that into more booze because the apocalypse ain't stopping anytime soon and we don't want to be sober for it. So you trade the water in your inventory for a bottle of booze of unknown percentage for each player, 1 bottle per player.
Presenting Neverclear. It's like Everclear, but it's called Neverclear. It's approximately 180 proof.
All right, I'm going to add that in, 180 proof. Neverclear. Fantastic.
It's poison.
It's poison. So you've got the Swanson family mash in your inventory, and we bid them adieu. We have now passed 4 events, died once, and are into event number 5.
We've used the death save. We haven't died.
A death save. Fair enough. We've gotten close to dying once. All right, we're going to generate a new number. We generated a 1.
This is a funny one.
So we're going to go all the way to the top one. Andrew, go ahead and read this event for us.
All right, you are walking through the bottom floor of an apartment complex, and a zombie bursts out of a janitor's closet and grabs you. However, this Zed is someone's grandmother, and at some point her dentures fell out, and is basically of no risk to you. It is difficulty 1.
All right, Andrew, how would you like to proceed on this zombie? I'm assuming in this case, the zombie grabs you. Go ahead and react.
Based on the fact that my base strength is now 4, I grab... Oh my gosh, this is gonna be so brutal. I grab the chin and the back of the head of Grandma Zombie, and I snap her neck.
Me standing there at the outside, just mouth agape. Oh my gosh, I can't believe you did that. That was someone's grandma. Hey, but check this out. Grandma's little apartment has some swag. Let's roll on weapon table.
Let's see what Nana Zombie was holding.
I rolled a 4. So she had at least a wood splitting axe.
That is still not as good as your chainsaw. I mean, we're rolling in some pretty good weapons. There are some weapons where if it makes sense that you would be able to carry multiple of them, you can. Some of them have the one-handed characteristic. Some of them have the two-handed characteristic. I'm going to roll. I rolled a 12, which is a chainsaw. I am not going to pick up the chainsaw.
We already have that. That would be a huge downgrade for you.
So it totally makes sense that this senior citizen woman in her metropolitan apartment in Seattle had a chainsaw. Cool. Nothing weird about that. Let's move on.
Nothing weird going on here at all. Folks, we are going to be heading into event number 6, and this gives us a 20. So moving back over to our modified event table, we are getting a 20. We run into a vehicle. There's an outlaw hog.
That's a 21.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Sorry. Okay, this one's a little bit fun. The zombie plague gets to the bats. So we just ran into a cross-species transmission. Bats now are zombies. They can pass zombie bites. They can turn you into zombies. This is a difficulty of 27. We easily pass this with our very, very high multipliers. As we're going through, there are no consequences and rewards because now we just know that there are zombie bats around.
Dude, did I tell you I saw a bat in real life the other day?
Ooh, nice.
It flew in front of my truck as I was driving to work in the morning. And based on the rapid up and down of its wings, I was like, that was not a bird.
Yep.
And I was like, and so already the drive into my work, there's a ton of mist because it's kind of down in this valley. And I'm like, that is spooky as hell. I'm going to go right into the building. I'm not going to dilly-dally. Bats are gross.
We just passed our 6th event. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So now we are on event number 7. We've gotten pretty lucky with our last couple of rolls. We know that we're over halfway out of the downtown metro area. We can see the outskirts of the town. We know that once we get out, we can make our way into the South Puget Sound area, and we can easily get our way away from the metropolis of Seattle and survive. We are rolling for event number 7, a 35. Going down to 35. There's a fire in a convenience store. All right, Andrew, tell us what's happening here.
So we walk by our local gas station convenience store, and there are a few lights on in the back. We go into the store looking for some food, and we realize that the light is actually flickering, and we can smell the slight tang of smoke. And then before we can really react, it touches off a propane container in the back of the store, and there's a massive explosion. The back of the store is completely obliterated, but thankfully the slushy machine took most of the brunt, and your party is not directly impacted. However, the convenience store is now on fire, and there's a very limited amount of time where you can either choose to run out or you can loot it. What do you do?
So, question here, do we automatically suffer the consequences or only if we decide to loot the room?
Correct. The second one.
Okay, well, we need to run away then because I know this is going to add another event to us. But the consequences are if we go in, you're probably going to lose your backpack because it's probably going to light on fire, and you're going to lose your Neverclear.
Which that probably wouldn't be a good thing if that lit on fire.
So I say we run away.
But it is a difficulty 50. We could do it. This is probably one of the events where I probably should put in parentheses, weapons won't help you.
Oh, so like your difficulty modifier, like you don't get bonuses from weapons?
Yeah.
Oh, that would make sense because that means like we're at a very limited power level and we're not going to be able to succeed this. So to loot the room of an on fire convenience store would be very difficult and we would probably suffer consequences for it.
Right. So we would basically have to story tell our way through and succeed in the difficulty checks.
All right. Well, I think because this is going to add an extra event and we don't get to pass, it's like a double penalty, right? So I think we should try to just run in, grab some jerky really quick, something that has some protein, and then just run out. Just like take whatever's at the front desk and run out. How does that sound?
I think that is a great idea.
All right. So we need to make a check on the story table. This is going to be what? Just like a technical check?
Yeah, this would be like a technical check.
All right, I'm going to roll for this. I need to beat a 5, but keep in mind, I guess we have a +6, so we're going to probably beat that. I rolled a 5 plus my own modifier, so we are able to run in, grab some jerky, come out. In the process of grabbing that, my backpack lights on fire, and I have to sacrifice my Never Clear and to the fire, which then fully ignites the entire building and burns it to a crisp.
Wow, that stuff is super dangerous. So you lose your Never Clear, but you're able to add some beef jerky to your pockets.
I have pockets full of jerky.
And unlike the real world, every player, male or female, has functioning deep pockets.
Nice. All right, and that was a 35 we just rolled. Fire in store.
Only in a fantasy RPG would a woman have deep pockets.
Yeah, exactly. All right, brother. So we've completed 7 events. We have 3 left. As we're going through, as we get closer, do you want me to change the minimum roll? So like raise the base of like what's the lowest roll you can possibly get?
Yeah, I think it probably should get harder as we go.
Okay, so I'm going to change the minimum. This is going to sound cruel, but I'm going to change the minimum. Instead of 1, I'm actually going to put it up to 30. So that means we're going to be rolling between 30 and 66. So basically the harder end of our list only. How does that sound?
Sure.
All right, so I'm going to generate a number. Generate a 45. Fantastic. Going down to 45.
Oh my gosh.
Cool. So we just exited the convenience store. We actually hop into another building directly adjacent to it. Guess what? The Never Clear that just blew up in the convenience store lights the other building on fire. Andrew, what are we going to do here?
First off, we're not going to panic, which is my immediate reaction.
Yeah.
I'm going to tamp that down.
Okay.
Oh gosh. So similar to the other fire event, our weapons aren't going to be of very little use to us. A fire in the building. Let's see. The difficulty on this one is, because I didn't write it down, 68. My voice cracked a little bit.
Nice. Okay, so this is going to be incredibly hard for us to overcome.
Oh, man. I think we should just bail. I think we should just leave. Based on the building that we run into, it's not 100% clear what was actually in here. A lot of buildings that surround gas stations can either be apartment buildings, especially if they're in Seattle. They're either apartments or like various businesses, or at worst, like a seedy massage parlor. We're going to let it burn to the ground. We'll add an event to our total we'll use our circle back option. So now we need to we did not complete that event. It doesn't count as a win. And now we have 4 more events to win. So we were at 3, now we're at 4.
Yes. Okay. So we're going to generate a new event. We generated a 39. Hey, we got a cutscene. Another spontaneous mutation. Reroll your lowest difficulty dice. So that means we're going to go back up to spread and reroll. Andrew, would you reroll our spread modifier?
It is a 6.
Now it's a 6.
There's some magic going on.
Okay. Great. And just so you guys remember, a 6 on the spread means that as far as storytelling narratives, this is a magic zombie virus.
We see that in the streets and in the buildings that all of the zombies, their eyes light up with this dark purple arcane fire that kind of leaks out of their eye sockets. And we think, this is odd. That doesn't usually happen.
Weird.
Strange. How odd.
All right, so we made it through the cutscene. Our zombie stats are now at 20, so they're getting stronger. So that's great. We're gonna roll for a new event. A 62. Oh dear. Modified event table 62.
Yes, I was hoping this one would come up.
Zombie Hitler? All right. We've played Zombie Army 4 today, and we know how this is going to turn out. A horde of SS zombies lurks about while one zombie mindlessly salutes in random directions. There is basically a horde of lethal-looking zombies that we need to get through. Andrew, what should we do?
Let's see. This is a difficulty, I want to say 96. Based on the original event table. It is incredibly difficult. Let's do a quick stat check of 95. 95 plus 20. So we're trying to be 115.
Oh, dude. We might be able to do this. Because I'm at a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm at a 29 of power. What are you at?
Let's see. I am at a 58.
So we do not have enough power to take this on.
Ooh, I still have a bottle of Neverclear. Let me see. I am going to convert it into if I convert it into a Molotov, that would give me another plus 20 strength.
Okay.
Which would put me at, let's see.
8.
How many events have we completed? 8 or 9?
This is event number 9.
That would put me at 78 plus whatever your total is.
So as a total party power, we have 107.
We're still not there?
Still not there.
Oh.
Okay, so the power check doesn't go through. So we would have to storytell our way through, taking the D20 option to basically fight our way through. And remember, these are Nazis, so these guys are not open to civil discourse, nor should you. So on principle, I feel like we should do something about this. Is this worth dying for?
Here's the thing. I still think I should use my bottle of Neverclear as a Molotov cocktail, but instead of using it as a directly offensive weapon, I think I'm going to throw it as far away from us in the opposite direction of where we're trying to go as a distraction.
Okay.
And roll against that.
All right, perfect, brother. Go ahead and make a distraction check of 10.
What did we say the modifier for the difficulty?
It's just your base. It's just your base stat plus events, not your weapon.
Okay, right. So I have a plus 8. So I probably will succeed. I rolled a 20! I rolled a 20!
All right, folks. So Andrew takes his bottle of Neverclear, rips off part of his shirts, exposing his absolutely rippling American pectorals, and says, all right, I think we got this. Lights that on fire, throws it across, actually doinks zombie Hitler in the head, knocking him to the ground, and lights an adjacent structure on fire. All of the zombies start moving towards that structure, and we are able to cross the area unimpeded by zombie Nazis.
Goose step into hell, motherfucker.
Exactly. Very nice. I'm going to add that to our notes. Zombie Hitler.
That was dope. I like that.
Nailed it. All right. So
I should note real quick. So you notice that Nathan and I are actually switching back how we narrate for each other. So that's really how the game is meant to be played, is when somebody does something cool, it's actually the other players who get to dramatize and role play. It's like, okay, this is what happens.
Yes. And he rolled a 20. So that's critically successful.
Yeah.
Hence the doink right in the head.
Bonk.
Very nice. All right. We are rolling for event number 10. Keep in mind, we do have a bonus event at the end because we have run away at least once. So we are going to up our base modifier to a 40. So now we're picking from events 40 to 66. We're going to generate a 59. We run into a portal to hell.
Nice. Let's see. The portal to hell difficulty is 88. Plus our modifier of 20, so a 108.
Okay, so this one we can actually make. So we encounter an area where we are walking through one of Seattle's famous parks. There's dead bodies everywhere because we are in the post-apocalyptic area, and we see this bright light start to emerge from between a swing set. We say, oh, that's really weird. And this nice little Eye of Sauron basically opens up. and zombies start to spill forth. About 20 to 30 zombies spill out from this. They are newly invigorated from the powers of hell, and they are ready to kill. Andrew, what are we going to do?
Let's see. My power is up to 59. What are you sitting at?
I am up to because we don't have your never clear anymore, do we?
No, we do not.
Okay. Okay, so that means I'm at a 29.
That is not enough.
That is not enough.
Wait, hold on. 29 plus 59 is 88, isn't it?
Oh, you're right.
That is exactly what we need.
Well, no, because it's plus their zombie strength. So it's 108 we need to beat.
Oh, dang, you're right. 108. Yep.
Okay, brother. I know we need to kill these zombies on principle, but we need to work our way around. I've got a pocket full of jerky right now. If we get close to these guys, I feel like they're going to sniff me out, and we're going to get found out. You just threw your never clear, so we don't have a good distraction option unless one of us is really ready to go. Is there anything in our environment that we can do to get around this to still make it through this event?
I'm not sure. So the jerky itself would actually give you a temporary bonus of +5 strength.
Okay.
But that's still not nearly enough. I think we have to circle back, add an event to our total, and try to move on.
Yeah, right. I think that's a good idea. I'm going to make sure my chainsaw stays in the off position. Is your M269, is the safety on?
I look at my I tell you, I say, yeah, of course the safety is on. I look down at my rifle, and then you hear a click.
Yep, it's on.
Yep, it's on.
Fantastic.
It's on.
And we waddle away.
All
right, so we have events 10, 11, and 12. We're going to re-roll for our next one. We rolled a 64. The Necromancer ascends. Or rather, descends. We don't have a difficulty on this one. Oh, dear.
This is, I want to say, the second hardest event. Third hardest. It is a 98.
Yeah, we're not going to beat that.
So it was a 118 difficulty check. So we're running into an issue where we have some of the strongest weapons in the game. One, we don't have enough places to find loot. So that's something we can improve for next playthroughs, is characters need more loot.
Okay.
Let's see. The Necromancer ascends. Let's see. If we look at our story table, we could try to persuade him.
What's your argument? Persuade/intimidate.
I'm going to go towards the persuade angle because he's clearly so much stronger than me. So I'm going to go for it. Okay. I step out into the light that's being cast off of the Necromancer from his hellish ascension into this weird demon prince thing. And I say, can we pass? We are humans just like you, and we may even be interested in serving you if you let us live, please.
Are we about to take on a deity just to survive? Are we warlocks now?
My powers are fiendish, arcane in origin. For those of you who watch Legends of Evantris, do I get to roll now?
Yes, you need to beat a 20 on your check. Keep in mind, you get a +9 for your modifier.
17, baby!
Okay, you succeed. The Necromancer tips its head back, puts its staff on the ground, and says, yes, I would let you pass for service in my army. What are you willing to give me to let you pass?
I will give you... What do you...
I see that you are not coming up with any good solutions. So my character steps in and says, actually, we can give you something that has an increasing reward. So what we're going to do is we're going to find a person, and we're going to get that one person. We're going to enthrall that person into your army, but with some conditions. That one person is then going to recruit 2 people into your army. Then we're going to get those 2 people that both require 2 people to get into your army. And you see, you're going to have the best army on planet Earth. What does that say to you? Do you want to be the best necromancer you can be?
Did you just invent a pyramid scheme to convince this? You swiftly elbow me in the side, be like, shut up.
How does the necromancer respond? He responds quite favorably. He says, yes, that would be good. A lot of my zombies have been dying in alcohol-related fires, and I don't know why. The necromancer says, yes, that's a great deal. So we now succeed the event. We got through without selling our immortal souls, but now we have to recruit people for a brand new on-the-spot MLM necromancy scheme. But we made it through.
Okay, so that gives us an obligation to maybe say the next stray humans we come across, we have to convince them to serve the necromancer.
And if those humans don't fall by the terms and conditions, you know what? That's up to them, not us. So we made it through, baby. Hey, we're just trying to survive.
What the heck is wrong with you? Oh my gosh. That is our 10th event. But now we still have to complete the 2 bonus events to make it out alive.
Yes, we do. Rolling again, we got a 52. So we're going to hop back over to our event table. We're going to go up to a 52. We re-encounter the Juggernaut. Let's go. Okay, so this Juggernaut has a difficulty of 80. We did not see him before. Has a zombie stat of 20, so it's a total difficulty of 100 that we need to beat.
Hold on real quick. After we beat the necromancer and succeeded, we should probably roll on the loot table.
Okay, yeah, let's go over to the loot table.
Not to like buff myself, but like that hasn't been happening, and
right,
mostly because I didn't write it in.
I'm gonna roll first. I rolled a 19. You just have tent.
That's not very good.
No, that's not good. That's not good for a 19. I'm gonna take the one that's below that, which is pre-workout powder. I find some bucked up powder sitting on the ground, and I take that, which will give me plus 10 strength to my next encounter.
I haven't sorted this table by strength. I just write it all out and then I sort it, and I had not done that yet. So yes, you're correct that like a 19 should give you something that gives you a lot of strength. A 10 is not one of those. I rolled an 8, which is sunglasses. The description, you look cool as hell considering that's where you seem to be stuck. +1 charisma. And like we said, charisma does nothing, but you do look super cool.
Awesome. So you have a stat that doesn't help us out super well. Between my chainsaw, all of my inventory items, and how many events we have, I'm sitting at a 31... 41. I have like 46 power I can bring to the table now.
And I have 70.
We're going to kill ourselves a Juggernaut.
We're going to kill ourselves a Juggernaut. We're just going to straight up mow him down.
We both look at each other and we realize we're not running away this time. We're not going to run away from the same Juggernaut twice. This guy needs to come down. He needs to eat some of his own medicine. Brother, do you think we can take him?
I think we can take him just fine.
Fantastic.
I load my gun with dramatic intent and I aim it at the Juggernaut. I pull the trigger. I forgot to turn the safety off. I turn the safety off and I go, eat lead! And I just unload into him the whole mag.
While Andrew's using his entire magazine against them, I'm sitting over there like a goblin in a Skyrim cutscene, and I am chugging jerky and pre-workout powder, just dry scooping this shit right in. I've just gained a plus 15 to my strength. Andrew runs out of ammo. I crank that thing, almost breaking the ripcord on the chainsaw, and I run at him with the chainsaw above my head, just screeching, just... And then I chop both of his arms off and chop his head off to finish off the guy. And I'm sitting there just profusely meat sweating from all the jerky and pre-workout. And I'm just... We did it! I need to go to sleep.
We did it.
We passed through. The Juggernaut was, as with most giants, is usually guarding a chest full of loot. Andrew, please make a loot table roll, please.
I rolled a 12, which is a vial of blood, an unlabeled vial of blood.
You should drink it.
I don't have the events necessary to use this item written yet, but it is what it is.
I rolled a 20, which is nothing yet.
Let's see. A 20 should be...
Hold on, I got this.
That should be like a military surplus vest or something.
All right, so because everything is... I just came up with something really cool. Thank you, ChatGPT or OpenAI. I just found an amulet of power. So this is...
That makes sense. The strongest item on the loot table is of magical origin.
Yes. So this is going to give me add 20 strength to wearer.
Allows the user to slightly hover above the ground instead of walking.
Excellent. So now we have a huge buff into combat because I now have a chainsaw and an amulet of power. Sick.
All right. We have one final event that we need to do. Please roll for us.
That is going to be, all right, going back to my random number generator, rolling, we got a 55. Oh, we got another cross-species transmission. There are zombie bears now. On our last step outside of the metropolis, we take a look at the Point Defiance Zoo. There's a bear enclosure, and we realize the bears are looking a little bit funky. One of the bears turns to us. Its eyes are glowing. It makes a full right turn, and we see that the entire flank of the bear is missing. It's entirely necrotized. And so we realize, oh, there are zombie bears. So the humans must have done something gross to the bats. The bats then went over and bit the bears. Bears, bats, Battlestar Galactica. There we go.
Oh my gosh. The zombie bear, with its glowing purple incandescent eyes, sees us and immediately roars in anger and charges us. What do you do?
I stay well behind the plexiglass shield that is still currently up in the bear enclosure, and the bear runs into it and smashes its head open on the plexiglass.
Oh my gosh. That's your idea of automatically passing the event? It just pulps itself on the...
I did say it was still in its enclosure, so... hold on, I need to make a roll really quick because that was so gross. I need to make a technical roll to see if I throw up or not. I do not, so I keep my jerky and my pre-workout still in my stomach.
Exiting the Point Defiance Zoo, our party finds itself on the other side of Aurora, finally outside of the city of Seattle, outside of King County, and able to start walking along the edge of one of the highways to relative safety. Congrats, brother. We have escaped downtown Seattle, and we live to fight another day, leaving zombie Hitler and a necromancer to fight each other out in the city of Seattle.
Fantastic. Hey, the zombie Hitler's got a wound in his head, so that's fine.
That's true. He's got a concussion.
Astute listeners in the Pacific Northwest will know that Point Defiance Zoo is actually in Tacoma, not in Seattle. So that's my bad. I was ad-libbing off the top of my head.
Oh, what was I thinking? Woodland Park. I was thinking of Woodland Park Zoo, which is in North Seattle off of Aurora, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, perfect. Because I said the wrong location. That's my bad. We have a lot of changes to make over on this event, but I think we could really make this into a cool game. I think what could really be improved on this, so we should do like just a quick after action report of things that we can improve, things that need to change, or things we want to stay the same. So improvements. I think these events, we should make this into a deck of cards.
I agree. I do think it should be a deck of cards because... one, cards are cool. I friggin' love cards. And that allows people to, it's a little bit more tactile. I think it wants to be a deck of cards. It's really how I feel.
So I think that's something we could improve. I think there should be almost in every situation, we should almost have like, I think in the situations where we decide that we're going to attack the horde, we should make one like combat check every time. So we should be like roughly scaling up the difficulties of the enemies. So that way, like we're taking into consideration like our chainsaw, our equipment, and then we can get an extra bonus from the dice. So if we're like in those areas where we're like, oh, we just don't have enough power, we can't make it through, there should always be a chance to just roll a d20 and make it through. Just like we do when we have to story tell our way out, we consult the story table, right? We have different checks that we have to make based on what we want to do. However, I think what we should do is instead of giving difficulty checks for whatever type of story we're trying to tell, whether or not that's technical, distraction, stealth, or persuasion, we should have a story check modifier for each event.
That's true. I think that would be better.
And just say, hey, we can tell our way out any way possible, but you shouldn't be like, oh, I'm just going to always use a technical solution, because how we write it right now, if you try to persuade your enemies, it's always the hardest. But if you do a technical one, it's always the easiest. So we should just have a story check, like have basically each event, the total strength of the event, and then like a story check and a combat check. Combat checks are just like, hey, you have to beat the overall strength of the story. Or just have that be the same stat. Like, hey, regardless of what you try to do, you can always storytell your way through, and then
For sure.
you can always fight your way through, but you just always need to roll a dice. Because I think on the rounds that we're not rolling dice, it limits our ability to actually storytell and see what happens.
Yeah. I think we should update the starting inventory as well. Starting with a super powerful, like, machine gun seems a little overpowered. And I think based on how far you are in the game should dictate what difficulty of event you draw. So basically turn it to, so right now there's 5 different difficulties. I think we should narrow it down to 4. And I guess that doesn't make sense.
I was thinking we should actually narrow it down to 3.
3, okay.
And my thought was you have just green, yellow, and red. And your first 4 events you draw from the green deck. Your third 3, so events 5, 6, and 7, you draw from the yellow or the moderate deck. And then your last events, you draw from the red deck, including extra events you have to take.
Gotcha.
That would be how I write it out. I mean, you could do 4 and have like a black deck at the end, you know, fully necrotized at that point. So that could work.
And to our listeners, if you guys have any cool events that you can think of, feel free to hit us up in the comments. We'll take anything you say. And if we like it, we'll attribute it to whatever username you put down. I think that'd be pretty cool. In addition, our Patreon members do get priority to what events get told in the table because they support us and they are awesome. It's a great group. I love our Discord server for our Patreons or our patrons. It's super fun. We have so much fun.
Absolutely. And I think we should do a rotating. So like with how we did it today, everything was kind of improvised. So like I had a random number generator up. So that means that I was the one generating the numbers and also kind of deciding who's telling the story and who's interacting. If you were to play this with a group of people, you guys have whoever's drawing the event essentially, because that would be easier. We wouldn't need a random number generator if they're just in decks of cards. You just have whoever's next in line draw that event. And then whoever's, you know, to the left of the dealer or the left of the drawer has to storytell. So you could do all sorts of things that way.
Lots of improvements. Again, this is an alpha test for a game that we're developing. Whether or not it gets up off the ground, we don't know. We just thought it was a cool idea. It really all started from the genesis of, hey, what would you do in a zombie apocalypse? We wanted to do something for Halloween. And then it just grew from there. It basically spontaneously combusted into a game.
Yeah.
Because it made the most sense to say, oh, this should be like a table. Oh, this should be balanced in such a way. And once you start thinking along those lines, it just becomes, hey, this is a game. So let us know if you guys like it. I think we're ready to outro this sucker.
Yeah. Absolutely. Guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Every single one of you watching is amazing. Make sure to leave any of your ideas, questions, comments, concerns in the comments. Make sure to share this video with a friend, guys. This is going to be a little bit of an editing nightmare for me, no pun intended. That's okay, because we were testing and figuring things out on the fly. So thank you guys so much for being patient with us here today. We're super excited to feature any of those questions, comments, concerns on air. You just guys have to make sure that those show up. Send those in emails. We're finding that we get, especially on our Instagram videos, that we get like sometimes like hundreds of comments on those videos. And a lot of times it's like based on, you know, what we're doing or like people just like commenting about the fandom in general. So those take a long time to sift through. And sometimes we don't sift through those at all because there's literally so many of them. So if you guys have anything you guys want featured on air, email us at talkabouttatooine@gmail.com. Make sure you guys have a descriptive subject line so that we can feature that on air and can help us kind of put everything into a clear and concise format. Also, if you guys support us on Patreon, you guys get access to our Discord server, which again, you can give feedback to us directly, and we feature that stuff right away. So please consider supporting us on Patreon. If you guys can't afford the $5 a month, please just watch our videos on YouTube, like, comment, and subscribe over there because it really does help us out. And until next time, everybody, we hope you have a very happy Halloween.